Hello, welcome to another episode of What's Up Wednesday with Tune On Vu. How are you, man?
What's good, man? How are you?
Long time no see.
Ooh.
How you been?
Good. I know you have been doing a little bit of traveling, and
I have. We'll get to that, but let's talk about the beer because I'm thirsty. What did you bring?
I brought Hardywood Trickery. So this is normally released, I think, in October.
Okay.
It's got a nice little label, little
Nice.
witch barrel.
Is that local?
It's in Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an imperial milk stout aged in apple brandy barrels. 13.5%. I've been aging it for the last year. So
It's gonna be vinegar or it's gonna be awesome.
no, it's gonna be good. So with stouts, they age pretty well. It lets the alcohol mellow a little bit, so it ends up becoming a little sweeter.
Dope. Well, we'll show that. Boom. There it
Yeah.
is. And let's put that down here out of the way.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers, beloved.
Smooth.
Yeah.
I like it. You can taste the wine tones to it.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, let's see. We've been gone for a while.
we have.
What did you get to? How was Mr. Viet Fest?
Man, it was awesome. This is one of the first years I got to really assist with the programming.
'Cause before you competed in it.
I competed, and then they would ask me to help out with like the music and stuff like that. So this year I helped with the programming, recruiting some of the talent. One of our good friends, Andrew Vu,
What up?
competed. He competed and did really well.
Really?
Unfortunately, he was just a little short of making the placing mark, but nonetheless, he came in with a good spirit, and he wants to continue to help out the community. So shout outs to Andrew Vu on that one.
Drew Vu, who also does Wednesday's podcast with me. It's been a while. I've fallen off a little bit, but you had a good time, good turnout?
Great turnout. Actually, this is the first year that we had. This is the biggest turnout we had of all the Viet Fests.
That's awesome.
I set up the after party this year, which was awesome. Shout out to Tyson's Beer Garden for hooking that up.
Tyson's, that's right. That's where we usually do comedy out there. It's a good little spot.
Yeah.
Did you guys have it was downstairs where you had the after party?
We actually had it upstairs and downstairs.
Oh,
we had
wow.
2 DJs.
That many people.
Yeah, it was popping.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. You see, when you build something from like a community base, and it just keeps on building. What is this? The 4th or 5th year? Something
No,
like
this is I think the eighth
Eighth
or
year.
9th. Yeah.
that? In such little time, you can do a lot of great things.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. And did you perform? You performed.
I performed with a full band this year. It was wild. So we only had 2 practices, but friends, we just get together and do it up. They're talented musicians. So shout out to Jermaine, Brennan, Fabian.
Oh, Fabian.
Oh yeah, you met Fabian,
Yeah,
right, Fabian.
We met Fabian I met Fabian the same night that I met you.
Right, and then my homie Jamar, and they're all super talented. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
That's awesome. I saw Fabian at your birthday last.
Yeah,
Happy birthday to this guy.
thanks, man.
Big 31? Big 31.
Yeah.
Doing big things. Did you end up going into a karaoke room or did you just hang out?
No, we just did it. So there's too many people, so we had to do the karaoke bar area.
Yep.
Which we took over anyways. And,
Yeah.
big thanks to TD Karaoke for hosting that party. And also,
That was a great venue.
it was awesome. They want us to do more events. So if you want to do anything, let me know.
That'd be a great night, a great little place to have like a comedy showcase. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's set up there. They've got this big bar area, seats, and they've got like a stage. And you can do karaoke there, but then you can also rent like the smaller rooms
Right.
that fit 10, 15 people.
And I spoke with them. I said, this is a birthday event. I don't know if there's any way we can do this because I don't really know you guys, but you don't know unless you ask. So I said,
I don't know you, but I'm gonna ask.
right, you don't know unless you ask. So I said, I'm very involved in this Vietnamese organization. I would like for you guys to do a contribution to the organization, given the fact if we bring a certain level of people there. And they said, well, we don't typically do that. And I said, well, you just see the night through. I plan on bringing people here regardless if you decide to donate or not. So after the event, they're like, you know what? You had such a great turnout. You had such a great event. The people there were very manageable. You guys weren't a rowdy crowd.
Rowdy enough for karaoke, but not
Right.
rowdy enough to like get
No
thrown
bar
out.
fights, right?
Because I went there and I showed up and I didn't realize like how well connected you are. Like everyone that I know, like especially out of the Filipino community,
Yeah.
I was like, what are you guys doing here? Like, what are you doing here? It's like, I'm here for tuna. Like, us too. Like, okay, I didn't even know you guys did. Like John Victoria. Shout out to John Victoria.
Yeah, shout out to John Victoria, traveling all over the world right now.
Yeah, he's back. Is he back?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but I was stoked to see him. What a great guy.
Right. John Victoria in the Filipino Young Professionals.
Right.
They always have a really good time. So if you are in the area and you check out FYP, I was at the other karaoke event that they had like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Bistro.
1521.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good spot.
We sang karaoke, so they're like, yeah, why don't you sing it in the back room? But it's the KTV. What was the spot that you had your birthday at?
Oh, TD Karaoke.
TD Karaoke. That was a really, really cool venue. And
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Unfortunately, I had to leave early because
Oh man, did you leave before we got the cupcakes out?
I did not see any cupcakes.
Oh man, my bad.
It's okay. I saw boxes of cupcakes and I was like,
I should have given you one before you had it out. They're Georgetown cupcakes. People love that stuff. I don't know what the hype is. I don't eat sweets, so like I'm not saying they're wrong on the hype, but I know that was like a thing when I came out here. They're like, you have to get one.
yeah. I mean, coming from LA, everybody has gourmet cupcakes. Everybody has gourmet donuts. So seeing, Georgetown, it's like it's good. I mean, it's not if you're into cupcakes, but it's not like I'd kill somebody over. I'm not gonna wait in line for these things.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a place in LA called Sprinkles, and they're all over the place now. But they were one of the first places that I saw that had ATM cupcakes.
ATM cupcakes.
So
what does that mean?
That sounds horrible. Different.
That sounds either very, very like fiscal responsibility kind of, or very, very on the other end of just really dirty minds.
It's not the dirty kind. There'd always be lines. So there's like an ATM machine that you could put your money in, and you could pick what you wanted, and then literally it would just come out, grab it, and turn it. You'd be able to grab it. So you wouldn't have to wait in line if you're getting like one. But everybody always gets like a dozen of them. Who's eating a dozen cupcakes?
Man, there was
$5 a piece.
There's a girl I liked, and
always the story. Every story starts with, "Oh, there's a girl I like."
I was trying to make an impression on her, so I went and I got cupcakes. But
for your own birthday?
No, not for my birthday. This is for some other event, and I went and I don't eat sweets. I don't know how many I'm supposed to get.
Really, you don't eat sweets?
No, other than I eat gummy bears, but they have to be Haribo.
Oh, man. Really hard.
No, like the Haribo.
Oh, Haribo.
Which are pretty hard, actually.
But you put them in your pocket, walk around for a little bit.
I prefer them a little chewy, a little firm.
A little firm.
But, yeah, so anyways, I got her cupcakes, and they're like, oh, do you want one? And I was like, well, how much do you buy a person? And it's wrong to ask the cashier, right? Because they're going to want you to buy more. Mm-hmm. So they're like, I don't know, 2. And I was like, 2? I was like, really? Why would you say 2? And they're like, well, whatever you feel like they're going to like. And I was like, well, you have a lot of flavors. Maybe I should buy 6. So I bought 6.
I've done that too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I'll be like,
and they're not cheap. Like, I think, how much did I pay for 6? I think I paid $20 for 6.
And that's the half dozen discount. Like,
right.
I bet you they're $3 to $4 a piece.
Yeah.
I'll go and give me one of everything, because at this point, fuck it. Because you're gonna bring it to work. You're gonna bring it to the birthday.
Yeah.
And someone's like, "Well, it's Thursday. They have this one. Why didn't you get that one?" And you're like, "Because I don't fucking know. Just give me one of all."
I went to somebody's going away, and it was a potluck style, right? Mm-hmm. They provided like a few heavy hors d'oeuvres, and just everyone brought like a small dish or something. My friend shows up with 6 cupcakes. Now, mind you, I'm kind of thinking like, yeah, that's such a weird number, like 6 cupcakes, like. There's going to be like 20 people here, you know what I mean?
Yep.
At least. And then I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, where'd you get those cupcakes from? He's like, man, there's this like really good bakery or cupcake shop in Chinatown. He's like, each of these were $4 a piece. I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'd buy more, but with the potluck, it's got to be under a certain.
He's like, you mean?
amount.
He's like, other people are bringing stuff, right? Like,
well, I think the good thing about them is they're not like the little cupcakes. They're like they're they're pretty big, so you can actually cut them up into 4s and put toothpicks in them. It's a little cheap, but I mean, if you are that monster that goes and knowingly eats a $5 cupcake by yourself at a going away potluck, you're a fucking asshole.
You know what? And for me, again, I don't eat sweets, so it's like I don't know what the etiquette for it is. I'm just like, oh no, thank you. Please help yourself. You know?
Right. Well, it's Thursday. You didn't get that one. You know they have it on Thursday. It's the best one. That's always the thing. Everyone's like, oh, it's the best one. The one that you didn't get. You got all of them except for the best one.
I'm in this group chat for the Mr. Vietfest people because I invited them all out, of course. And
Drew Vu was there.
Andrew Vu was there.
Yeah, shout out to Drew Vu.
Yeah, and it was so funny. I was like, I got 42 cupcakes. Do you think that's enough? And they were like, should be. And then someone in the group chat says, get 2 red velvet for me.
2, specifically for me. Just order the 42, put 2 in another bag with my name on it.
So, like, honestly, I didn't think this was going to be a big deal. I was only expecting like 20 people, maybe a couple stragglers, people inviting stuff. And then day of the event, people kept like hitting going now all of a sudden. And I was like, damn, I got to get at least 60 now. And
it's not close. Like Georgetown, you went to the Georgetown one?
Well, no. Well, there's one by my office in Bethesda. Okay. So, luckily, I didn't, yeah.
Because the thing about Georgetown is...
that one actually has a line. The one in Bethesda doesn't.
And there's no parking, and it's a shit show to get to. It's a shit show to get out of.
Yeah.
The thing about Georgetown is they make it very difficult to get to.
Yeah.
For a reason. But, yeah, I think when I left your birthday, there must have been 50 people there alone.
It was very, very sizable. I did not know I knew that many people.
Yeah, because there was at least 10 FYP people there.
I mean, I appreciate everyone coming out. It was a good time. Everyone was very cordial with each other. They encouraged my inebriation. I saw a video the next day. Apparently, I chugged half a soju bottle at some point in the night.
Yes!
And I was like, oh, I don't remember that. But
Only half.
Only half. Well, it's funny because, like, I remember, like, I was going to finish the whole thing. Now that I have seen the video and I've gone through the flashback moments, I was going to finish the whole bottle. But me being an old age now where, even when I'm drunk, I'm very aware of what I'm doing. And I was like this, oh, I probably shouldn't finish this. Let me set this down. There's a reason why I drank 3 bottles of water before I went out tonight.
You're like, maybe I'm going to share this. Maybe I shouldn't drink all of it. I'll share half of it. But you've already put your mouth on it. And everyone's like, that's your bottle, sir.
I think that's actually what happened.
You're like, oh, anybody want? No? Anybody want some?
Yeah, it was...
Did I see a video of you trying to do a flip on your birthday and crash hard?
No.
That wasn't you?
But,
you're trying to do something on your birthday.
Oh, no, it wasn't on my birthday. You're talking about when I...
Oh, yes. So I've seen a video of this guy, and he's like, hey, we finally found this video from like 5 years ago or something crazy.
Yeah, so...
And you ate shit.
So, my friend, he owned a restaurant back in Virginia Beach and everything. Well, he still owns it, but...
And still...
It's still very successful, and it's still a place. But, I don't know why, but there's like different size bottle of Patron. Like there's like the small one that's 375 milliliter, which equals out to like roughly under 13 shots.
Yep.
And then like there's like the 750, which everyone buys. But then he bought like the really big one.
1.75.
Right. So he was sort of like, I bought the wrong one. I can't put this on the like shelf of my restaurant. But no one's like, he's like, I own a Vietnamese restaurant. No one's going to drink tequila here because there's a Mexican restaurant right next door to us. And he was like, you want to go shot for shot? Oh, and I was like, dude, I would crush you. And he was like, I weigh 60 pounds more than you. You're not going to. I was like, well, we'll see. So in 45 minutes, we did 7 or 8 shots. And, we were waiting for our friends to show up at the restaurant because when we were doing this, it was around like 8 or 9 o'clock. The restaurant closed at 10. So the restaurant closed at 10. So we started at 9. So at 10, some of our friends started showing up, and we decided like, hey, it'd be really cool to welcome them. And while we're in the back of his restaurant, he has this like storage shed, and we thought, hey, no one's ever climbed up on that storage shed
for a reason.
And it's like, why don't people like go up there? And they're like, Tunon, you used to like, skate and all this stuff. Why don't you? You're the most limber out of all of us, which is not true, but I was convinced at that point,
7 shots in, you're like, yeah, I'm whatever you say I am.
Like, yeah. What the video didn't show you was I already tried it once before that take, and it didn't work. Like, I came up really short. Like I watched the video. I was like, yo, this isn't going to work. They're like, no, you can do it. Ty needs to push you up, like straight up higher. Mm-hmm. But if you watch the video, he like literally just like lunged his hands like high and forward.
Right.
And all it did was just flip me over.
That's what And someone was like, he's going to do it again. I bet you $20 he's going to do it again. Do it again. We'll film it this time.
The funny thing was I was working at Bank of America at the time. And I fell on the ground, got up, thought I'd broken something, but I was like, nah, I'm straight. I've got all these cuts on the side of my arm, but I'm good, right? Mm-hmm. Went home that night, woke up the next morning, had work at 8 a.m.
Yikes.
And woke up at 7, and I was like, oh, why do I feel like I got hit by a dumpster truck?
Why does it feel like the earth hit me in the face?
I remember going to work, and like I wear a suit to work, and they're like, what's wrong with your face? What's wrong with your face, Brenda? Like, it's like, fucking oh my God.
Right.
When my manager pulls me aside, he's like, are you okay today? She's like, they really babied me. It was a lot of women that worked at this branch. So that like, they really babied me, and they're like, Tunon, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I want to show you something. And I'll just explain my night, but if I can just work in the drive-through area today, that might be better for us. so that no one can see me. So I rolled up my sleeve, and I didn't even realize how bad it was. It was like cuts all over my left arm, bruised up. Like, I had to go see a chiropractor and all this stuff.
That's why you have tattoos. You're like, I can't see these scars. Let me just tattoo over it.
But anyways, man. So my birthday was good.
So you
time.
You did not try to jump on a storage unit.
Well, someone, what is it? They took a birthday cake and just dumped it on my face.
But no storage units.
No storage units.
Okay, that's good, because I was like, because I think I got you your first shot.
Right.
Like Jameson.
Right. But I was already like three glasses of Buffalo Trace.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good whiskey. That's not bad whiskey. 3 shots in. Fuck it. Happy birthday. I'm a fan of this.
Gets better as it warms up.
Yeah, I think stouts. That's where I fucked up. I had chilled glasses.
No, but it's good. I like the chilled glasses.
Okay. And then these glasses are from Nice Brewery in Maine, and I plan on going back when I go. I'm headlining in October.
Oh, yeah. My man.
Yeah, so that's exciting. I got some family out there, but neither here nor there. Happy birthday.
Thanks. But let's talk about your travels. You went to the Philippines?
I went to the Philippines.
Right.
I was supposed to go to Hong Kong for a little bit.
Right.
And, revolution. She got a little fucking crazy. So I was talking to the showrunner, and I was like, hey, I don't know. I'd watch a lot of CNN. It looks like it's a little kind of crazy out there. And all I needed was for him to be like, yeah, it's fine. No big deal. Like, he could have lied to me. He could have lied to me. Like, yeah, no big deal. Just come. But he was like, yeah, I mean, it happens. It's China. Like, that was his email. Like, stuff happens. China's going to be China. And I was like, cancel me. I'm not even going to try that.
Yeah.
And then my Singapore show got canceled, which is fine. So we spent almost 90% of my vacation in the Philippines.
Right.
I got to go hang out with my wife's family. Got to go see like her. They have this crazy thing called ancestral land.
Yeah, I feel like with Filipino culture, from what I'm aware of, I don't want to generalize, but I've heard that term quite a bit.
Yeah, so it's basically like your great grandfather somewhere in there buys land, and it just keeps on getting passed down. Like it's never even thought of to be sold, or it's rarely sold because it's ancestral. But by the time it gets to us, it's basically in the hands of 30 people, 40 people, and you might live there, but you're just the custodian of, or you're just the steward of this land. So that was very strange, but we got to go see her ancestral land, and I did a lot of things while I was out there. One thing that people got really upset at me about was I went to go see a cockfight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. So I went to Thailand, and we went to a zoo. My friend was very adamant about wanting to take a picture with a tiger.
That sounds horrible.
And I'm sorry, he didn't want to specifically see a tiger. He wanted to specifically see an elephant. The tiger just happened to be there.
Okay.
But it's funny, all the criticism that people give zoos in the U.S. or circus. And I've gone to the circus. As a kid, I was a big fan of it. And from what I can recall, again, this is memory lane, like 20 years ago, those animals look, for the most, healthy as far as on appearance.
Sure.
The animals in Thailand at the zoo was just, man, it was very sad. I couldn't even take pictures with them because I just was kind of like, I'm already ashamed to be here. I don't want to be caught in like any tangible evidence of it.
What's crazy is like the tigers for sure will live a better life. Elephants will live a better life in the wild. For
Right.
positive, right?
Right.
And then I've seen videos of people taking pictures with the tigers, and you could just tell they're just doped. They're doped up to the gills, and they don't even know what's going on.
This thing was doped up, and they had like it's not a taser, but it's kind of like
Cattle prods.
Yeah, cattle prods, and like the guy kept like smacking in the face with the cattle prod so that it would open up its jaw, so that like it could get that like kind of like roaring like look for the picture, and. It's chained down and all this stuff, and the way that they have it sit so you can't see it in the picture. But nonetheless, I was just like, nah, man, I think I'm good.
Yep.
But like, I also understand like it's a cultural thing. Like it's acceptable over there.
I don't think it's a cultural thing. Like I don't think generations of people okay. On one portion, it's like this is how these people make their living, right?
Right.
There's an industry built around that. But that, to me, I don't see that as a cultural thing. Like to put up a zoo for tourists, how is that a cultural thing?
Culturally, I guess I'm saying that it's like it's accepted because it's in existence, right? Not to say that it's like promoted. It's just that it's there. It hasn't been stopped, and it's continued.
Okay,
right.
That.
So again, like kind of like with the cockfight thing, like I get that that's a thing over there. You experienced it. Like I guess me being Vietnamese, and because I went over to Vietnam when like I was 12.
Okay.
And I'm a refugee, so I grew up like very traditionally Vietnamese as far as the home life goes. So when I was over there when I was 12, like my mom was like, "Well, are we gonna eat dog meat over here or what?" Like, because. I don't want to call it a delicacy because I don't think it is, but it's acceptable over there.
I don't think and the joke it always is like, obviously you don't see a problem with it because you're Asian, right? Like I don't see a problem with it. I've had horse, like I've eaten horse, and people go, "Oh my god, why would you eat horse?" But then you go to some countries, like people are like, "Why would you eat a cow? That makes no sense."
Right.
I think where I draw the line is monkey. I don't think I can eat monkey.
If it's legal in that country, I think I would give it a shot. I know that that's a very controversial thing that I just said, but at the same time, it's like I don't go out hunting for it. Like when I went to Thailand back in April, this girl who used to bartend down the street at this bar called The Spot, her name's Pla. Shout out to Pla if you happen to see this. She just moved out to back to Thailand.
Okay.
She was over here studying. I didn't realize that's why she moved over here, but she moved back to Thailand recently.
Terps.
I think maybe.
Let's go Dirty Terps.
Okay. But yeah, so when I was over there, she happened to be vacationing at the same time. So she showed me around and she asked me, she said, "Oh my gosh," she said, "since you're in Thailand, are you going to eat a scorpion?"
Yes.
And I was like, I don't give a shit. Like,
throw some
listen,
Old
like
Bay on it.
I am not opposed to like if people can eat it over there, like I'll eat it. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a very adventurous person, so I have no.
So on my Instagram, someone was like, just because it's culturally acceptable, like doesn't mean it's right. Like some cultures rape kids and everything. I was like, whoa, I went to a cockfight and you equated me with a rapist. Okay, that kind of got out of hand.
Right.
But it's like, but you eat chicken, right? The chicken died one way or another. It's
it's weird. It's weird. We live in a very PC world where
people. I don't think a lot of thoughts are well thought through. It's like you can't. How do you eat a chicken? You kill it. The chicken died. But I don't know. It didn't bother me. I hadn't really thought about it, but it was like a cultural thing, like watching boxing and people go, "Oh my God, you're barbarians!" Watching two men kill each other. It's boxing, bro.
Look, I get it. I get it. I understand both sides of it. I guess I just don't care.
Yeah.
And
I was the only tourist there. Like, it wasn't like a shuck and jive for tourists. Like, it was something that these people do every weekend.
Right.
This is a pastime. And they were just so excited for me to be there. They're like, oh my God, there's an American. Literally, they put me in like the VIP section. Like,
wow.
And it wasn't like a basketball court that on the weekends they turned into a cockfight. Like, this was a built structure for cockfighting.
Wow.
And it fit, I would say, if I were to guess, 600 people. It could. I mean, if you packed in, it could fit 600 people.
Wow.
And betting, so I bet on it, because at this point I felt like the goddamn mayor. Like, everyone was like...
Well, what's funny is that reminds me of like horse racing. You know what I mean? Like, because horse racing, they built this like track race, and I'm not saying that it's exactly the same thing, but what happens when the horse's legs break?
Oh yeah, they shoot them.
They shoot them and that's kind of barbaric in a sense. Like, and these horses are worth millions of dollars.
Yes, and it's not even like, oh well, he'll never be able to race again, so you kill it.
It's like why don't you just let it heal or
stud it out? Could you imagine you break your leg and all your whole function for the rest of your life is to have sex?
Listen, like we've just we see these like videos online where not horses, dogs have a missing leg and they build like these like some sort of like
trolley
robotics
thing.
Or like kind of like
it's a wheelchair.
What is it? Prosthetic like leg and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they could do something like that for horses. But it's just kind of like, again, this is what's acceptable in certain places.
But neither one of us are vets. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming that horses, sure, they might not be able to race ever, but there's no value to them. You're just gonna put a shotgun to their head.
Right. Agreed. Agreed.
That was strange. That's always strange. And then on top of that, you can't even eat. You don't eat horse meat, so you put a shotgun to their head, and then that's it. Like, there's no value.
Right.
These roosters, they weren't even fighting to the death. They just fight until it gives up. That's it. That was like the misconception. Sure, I'm sure they died.
Oh, so let me just circle back for a second.
Circle back. Here we go. Hold on.
So Pla goes, and she's like, "You're gonna eat scorpion? Or have you had scorpion here?" And I said, "No, I've never had scorpion. I'm down to try." She took me to this nice. It was popping off at night and everything like that. Nice little bar scene, club scene, whatever. So she comes running out and she goes, "Hey, I got you the scorpion," like out of nowhere. And I was like, "Okay, cool." And don't get me wrong, like I was a little nervous because this thing was huge, man.
Like, how big?
Oh my, like
the body.
The body was probably the length of my hand.
Damn.
So.
On a stick.
Right, so like the body was like this big, but the tail hung out.
Okay.
I remember eating it, and then like the tail was still hanging out of my mouth, and I had to take like a second bite to like kind of. And honestly, it tastes like barbecue chips.
I think that's where I would probably invest a lot of my money. If like I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy some stocks, it would be in like insect protein.
Well, let me tell you this.
Tell me something.
So I said, Pla. I was like, "Do you like scorpion?" Because I thought it was fine. It tasted like barbecue chips. The texture was a little weird at the end because it got a little mushy,
Okay.
But I said, "Do you like it?" And she's like, "No, I would never eat that." I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you guys don't eat this over here? She's like, no, this is all for tourists.
Interesting.
She was like, no one here eats that.
Like that's what took her so long. She was like, I need a scorpion. Yes. I need a fucking scorpion. Yeah, it's not for me. Just anybody get me one.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I felt dumb as shit after that. But I mean, I don't regret it. Like, it was fine.
you know, the thing about like what do you call it in Vietnamese? The fertilized duck egg or the fertilized chicken egg.
Jung. Well, in Vietnamese we call it Jung Vit, but it's a duck egg. The one that Filipino people I think eat the chicken ones.
Yeah, it's called a balut.
Well, I'm sure we eat both, but I've always eaten the duck ones.
And I think it's a cultural thing. People eat it. But it's like,
I love it.
It's the thing that you give tourists where you're just kind of like, go ahead, try it. They just want to see the reaction. And when I start to sense that they're just fucking with me, without crack it open, knock it back, no problem.
Right.
I don't even.
I don't mind it one bit.
It's not bad. I mean, it's the beak. The beak is kind of weird.
Dang, they gave you one with a beak in it.
It's like because there's a little bit of bone. There's like little bones. Like,
yeah, I've never had a beak. I've had a feather actually before.
I've had it's like, it's crunchy. There's like a couple crunchy parts, and I'm like, oh, I'm guessing that's the beak.
No, you wouldn't be wrong. I mean, I've heard people have a beak. Like, I'm just laughing because it's like, you haven't had it before, right?
No, I've had it. I've had the Vietnamese version a bunch of times.
Okay.
But it's not like, it's not my favorite, but I'm not gonna just give it to me. Knock it back.
I don't. Yeah, like again, I don't go seeking for it. I don't mind it when it's there, and it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, there's like a lot of good food. It's funny because there really wasn't like the fake Filipino food. There's no fake Filipino food.
Dude, Jollibee's the shit.
Jollibee. I mean,
actually, let me rephrase. Their fried chicken is the shit. Everything else is whack, in my opinion.
I don't mind. So we got the box, right? Because I wanted, for no reason other than I just wanted to try all of it, right? Just to say. So I had like. It was
tell me what you like. I'm curious.
The burger patty was okay.
Really?
I mean, not the ham burger, but there was like basically like a Salisbury steak. It was like a
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The spaghetti was whack. The chicken was good.
Dude, the fried chicken is so good.
Not so good.
No, dude, it is really good.
Okay, I mean, this is where we disagree.
You know what? I wonder if they do it different in the Philippines now than the U.S.
You can get fried chicken anywhere. Like McDonald's, McDo, you can get fried chicken at McDonald's.
Oh, really?
You can get, there's fried chicken everywhere.
Well, I think they might do it different over there. And the only reason why I say that is because I remember when I was in Vietnam, being the American kid that I was at 12 years old, I found a KFC, and I remember getting it, and I was like, yo, this KFC's weird.
I really wanted to do KFC, but see, the problem in the Philippines is there's a little bit of racism, but it's not so much that. It's like classism. It's either you have money or you don't have money.
Oh, okay.
And if you have money to like afford actual Filipino food, like actually go to a restaurant, you're not doing Jollibee, you're not doing KFC. And I was like, oh, I just want to go to KFC, and everyone's kind of like I embarrassed my wife. My wife was kind of like, we don't fucking do that here. We're not poor. So, but going to like TGI Fridays is the height of.
Oh, really?
Not like the fancy, but like.
The height of that chain restaurant kind of thing.
If you were like, hey, let's go on a date, like where are we going? KFC, we're gonna go to TGI Fridays. If you'd said that here in America, the girl would be like, fuck you. But there, I mean.
They're like, yeah.
Let's
go.
Me? You want to take me to TGI Fridays?
Wow.
The money is the separator of everything, because what it comes down to is if you have money, then you can go get an education. You have an education, you speak English. You speak English, that means you have money. Like, it's this very weird roundabout way.
I told the guys from SNRG.
Yep.
Shout outs to SNRG.
Yeah,
the homies for real.
I'm gonna see him soon.
Yeah, they keep trying to get me to go to the Philippines and work on some music and stuff, which I'm down for. I really want to go because I want to go to Vietnam next year, but I don't know if that's possible. But listen, the Philippines sound great, and I'm trying to find my future ex-wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can find them here. You just came from Virginia Beach.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, no, I mean,
Any naval base in America, you'll find your next Filipino ex-wife.
you know that pretty well.
I do. Where do you think I tour? I sell well. And they're like, why do I sell well in this city? It's like, oh, there's a naval base here. That's why. Okay, I guess that makes sense. San Diego, the Bay, Jacksonville.
Yeah, San Diego is great. I'm not a big fan of California, but San Diego.
If you look at him, you look like you literally
I look like the most West Coast guy. Every single time I meet people here, they're like, "You're so relaxed. Like, are you from California?"
He looks like Tyler the Asian. If Tyler the Creator was like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna be Asian. This guy.
When I was working with clips, it was so funny. I remember Malice one time was like, "You look like the most wannabe Asian Pharrell I've ever met."
But the funny thing is, like, Pharrell wanted to be Asian. You look at him, you're like,
I mean, he was hanging out with Nigo
Yeah.
from Bape and all that stuff.
I think
like,
I don't want to say he put Nigo on the map, but he brought Nigo.
I think he brought Nigo to the U.S.
for sure.
He opened the door for Nigo in the U.S.
Babes.
I think like he had like a solid following, but it wasn't to the level of what like.
I had Babes because they were cheap. For whatever reason, you could get them here cheap before Pharrell started rocking them.
Dude, Babes were sweet looking too.
They were cheaper in more colors than Air Force Ones.
Right.
So I was just rocking everyone. I remember like
What'd you call Air Force? Well, wait, when you were rocking Air Force Ones, what'd you call them?
uptowns and downtowns.
Yeah, see, like everyone called them uptowns,
Well,
and then
uptowns were the high tops.
Okay.
And then the downtowns were the ankles.
in Virginia Beach we called them DCs.
I got nothing.
But like I never heard any other place call them DC.
DCs. Why would they call them DCs? Huh. Okay. Oh yeah. Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
If they're high tops, you call them uptowns.
But Air Force Ones were pretty cheap too, right?
They were.
I mean, like they're kind of like when Vans became popular. Like Vans used to be able to buy like Vans for $30, $35 a pair.
Why am I looking at like $50, $60 a pair? Go fuck yourself.
It's wild now.
It's bullshit. You're looking at like Converse, the Chucks. Chucks are $50.
I've never liked Chucks. I've
Really?
never
Really?
liked
Skateboard
Chucks.
P?
I've never liked Chucks. You know, it's just that rubber toe cap.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it.
All I wear, like, so when I was in LA for 10 years. For the last 5 years, all I wore, because I was broke, and you can go on Amazon, you could find them for $35, $40.
Right.
But what was great about them is that you could never tell how old they were. So I would just buy like 5 pairs.
Well, that's the nice thing about Converses and like Vans. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they look better beat up, even with the white shoes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they look kind of odd when they're brand new and so clean. Like unless you have like a very clean look on.
Yes.
They look very odd being brand new white.
And when you buy them for $35, $40, like, they're dirty. Fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, like
You open up a new box and you throw a new one on.
yeah. Oh gosh.
But yeah, Air Force Ones. When I was in high school, you could get them for $50, $60. $50. You could probably get them for about $50. And then right before Nelly had the song, they were going up in price. They were like $60. And then I could find the Bapes, and they had all the colors.
Yeah.
Bapes came in so many colors. You could get them for $50. So I wore them, and people would make fun of me, like, "Oh, those are fake Air Force Ones."
That's wild.
Yeah, and
Because then they jumped up to like $300 a pair.
retail.
Right.
Right, and then you could buy, like, if I kept them clean, I could have literally sold them $300, $400, $500 used.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was mind blowing.
I remember Marc Jacobs did a collabo with Vans,
Marc Jacobs.
and it was awesome. Like,
Marc Echo?
no, Marc Jacobs. Marc Jacobs, like the high end brand.
The high end chick watches and purses.
Right.
Okay.
He did this collabo. It was the shoe was kind of like a mock of like the checkered board Vans,
Okay.
but the shoe, it was a slip on, but it was a crossword puzzle, and then the crossword puzzle said Marc Jacobs on it.
Oh.
And it was nice, man. I remember like I think retail was like $90, but and it was like leather and all the nice material, and Resale was like $300-400.
That was crazy because in the Philippines, everything that was American brand was 15 to 25% more than it is here.
Right.
But there's shit that just people like. If I had more faith in myself, I found the Fear of God hats.
Oh.
And they were going for $80, which is a little bit more than they are here. But I could have turned around and sold them for $300 a piece.
Right.
You know, but because they're $80, people can't afford them there. So I walked into the New Era shop because they don't have lids, and they just had.
That sounds even better. A New Era shop.
Yeah,
that's kind of sweet.
The problem with lids is there's just too many goddamn hats.
Yeah,
too many. You sit there and you look at it and you just go like, oh, my favorite team is this, but there's 17 different hats.
And none of them look good.
None of them are my size.
They're like a step better than Walmart, but not good enough to be $35, right?
I would buy, this is the trick that I usually buy. I buy the hat with the patch on the side. So with a Dodgers or Red Sox hat, they always have was it spring training or postseason? Because those ones will go down in price. You buy them for $20. They're the same hat with just a different patch. That's the trick. I'm not paying $60 for a hat. Go fight yourself.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is a different conversation for you.
I don't. Every hat I buy is on sale. Like everyone's like, "Yo, you dress so fly." I'm like, "Great, I bought everything on sale."
Yeah. Well,
I'm a financial advisor, man. Like
everything you're wearing is Forever 21, which is now going bankrupt.
It's so funny, like. I think with with some of my clients, they see me driving in my Scion. They're like, "You drive a Scion?" I'm like, "Yeah, I need money for other shit." Like,
and I can get you into one too.
I just like saving my money.
But you have a lot of gear, right?
Well, I mean, it's not just the gear. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like nice things, but I just find value in a car is. Unless you're like trying to restore it over the long term and you're really trying to keep it fresh, like it's not going to bring you more value. It's meant to drive you from point A to point B. I mean, maybe I don't know enough about cars and you guys can educate me on this, but for most people, it's just a vehicle to get them from point A to point B. And I guess how cool you want to look or what you want to experience. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a nice car. You have to find your pleasures of what you like. I think if you guys understood how much I spent on music equipment, you would think I'm insane.
You will get into cars when your balls drop. No, I think when you get out of puberty, you'll realize that there's something about cars that chicks dig. No, I get it. I drive a Forester, so it's not like I'm driving.
Damn, a Forester though. That's why you're married and I'm not.
I fucking love it. There's nothing makes me feel better than safety. Like I've driven, I had a WRX. I've driven, I had a Miata for a short period of time, which is not really that.
No, that's not. It's not manly, but it's cool.
What else did I have? A 240, a Nissan 240.
Yeah.
Modded out. That was fine. But the problem is, like, once you start modding your
modded out.
Once you fucking you can't rely on that shit. You're just like every time you're going to work, you're like, I hope it's gonna start. I hope I'm gonna get to work.
I had a event with work, and it was literally maybe 2 blocks over from my office. This new guy in the office, young, 25. He said, he asked me before we left the office, "Are you gonna walk over there?" I said, "Yeah, man. It's 2 blocks over, no big deal. Just walk over there." He said, "Oh, well, I'm worried about, because I drove to work. Our parking garage is gonna close at 7. You think our event will be over by then?" I was like, "No, but just drive your car over there. They do free valet. No big deal." All right. We get to the lobby. He says, "Do you want to ride over there?" I'm like, this guy isn't too. Anyways, I didn't want to walk. I didn't want to sit in his car, but I did because I was a nice guy, right?
Okay.
And he talks about his car a lot.
Because he hasn't found vagina. Continue.
And so I get to his car, and I'm like, fuck, this is not the car I wanted to ride in right now.
What is it?
So he always tells everyone, I drive this really awesome Beamer. It's a 2008.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So we're in 2019, and I'm just thinking, you know what? Like maybe this. Well, I didn't even want to say this. He always brags about how much money he comes from. So I'm thinking, a 2008 is not anything to brag about. But the problem is that like he had it all souped up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't be caught in this car because I'm Asian.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I had modded street racers when it was like not the stereotype just yet. And then once it became a stereotype, I was like,
but this guy's white.
yeah, because he wants you to be in his car. So it's like, hey, look, I've been validated.
Listen, I told you it was a 5-minute walk from my office to this event.
But he can get there in 2.5 minutes.
You don't understand how embarrassed I was because the event started like I was planning on leaving to the event and getting there 15 minutes early.
Yep.
This guy didn't listen to my directions. And Asians are supposed to be the bad drivers.
Right.
I said, hey, you need to make a left out of the garage. Well, my Google Maps says make a right. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, just go left. Too late.
But we're the horrible
We
drivers.
ended up, so had I walked, I would have been 15 minutes early. Because I rode with him, I was 15 minutes late. Because it's traffic time and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And my goodness.
He was just so happy. But like when you have these modded out cars, like there's nothing more embarrassing than handing your.
He
keys
wrecked
to
it a month
valet.
later.
Of course, of course. But like the embarrassment of like handing your keys to like a valet. You're just like, oh yeah, you gotta double pump the thing and you gotta give them instructions. Like that's horrible. Or like you're leaving the bar, like okay, I'm out later, guys, and then everyone's outside still smoking, and you try to start your car, and it's like that's just embarrassing. Get a normal car with fucking warranty. That's my suggestion. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, so the next car I'm going to get is a Corolla. I plan on getting a Corolla at the top of the year.
Okay. A brand new one? Get a Prius. Fuck it.
No, I plan on buying used cars. I don't, you know where we live.
Yeah.
People are terrible drivers out here.
Yeah. They're terrible drivers everywhere.
No, but they're worse here, man.
No, I don't think so. I think literally there's not a place that is better or worse. Just people are horrible beings.
No, man. Like, so coming from Virginia Beach, where I admit we're not good drivers to begin with, out here they're really bad because they don't even understand, like,
Turn signals.
well, everything. But on the interstate, if you're going to drive slow, stay on the right side,
But that's
drive
everywhere.
fast.
That's literally everywhere.
No, not how it is here, man.
I
think New York drivers or New Yorkers are,
Yeah, I do.
and Philly drivers are really good.
Philly, New York, like the city drivers, because they're like, where, and always that like the question, like, well, what's the rush? Why are you in a rush? Because I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be somewhere.
Like, I'd rather be early and just chilling than.
But I'd rather not be in my car. Let's put it that way. I don't care if I'm
Right.
early or late. If I'm in my car, that means I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be somewhere.
I knew a girl in this area. We were taking a trip to Busch Gardens.
How wait, hold on. How many hours is that?
3 to 4, depending on traffic.
I got to take the wife there soon.
So she goes and she said, you know what? Because I'm a season pass holder,
You are or she is?
I am. Pinky up.
Fucking
So I go.
financial planner money.
So I go and my whole thing was just like, yeah, just go. I have an extra ticket because they give us guest passes.
Oh, dope.
You want to just head out there? And she's like, sure. She's like, since you've got the tickets, I'll drive. I'll take the car. I said, we don't have to. I don't mind driving because I'm familiar with the area. No, I'll drive. We'll take my car. So she's driving, and she's driving on the left lane. She's going 55. It's like, where are you going 55? Like, go over to the right. She goes, no, there's just more room over here. And I've heard
because all the traffic is behind you.
I've heard that from a lot of people out here, man.
That's just.
But you might not be wrong. Maybe I'm just like really bitter about it?
I'm gonna go with basically there is no place known for driving. You know, Virginia's for lovers. There's not a state that's like fucking racists. But boy, they drive really well. Like there's no place that drives well.
Have you driven down have you driven down 95 like past Stafford and seen that huge ass Confederate flag?
Yeah.
It is first off, it's the biggest flag I've ever seen.
That's in Maryland?
No, it's in Virginia.
Oh yeah.
It's right outside of like what people consider Northern Virginia.
Okay.
It is the biggest flag I've ever seen.
I've seen one in like South Carolina, which it's huge. Like
I used to be a Boy Scout. We had to learn how to fold an American flag properly. This thing was way bigger than any flag I've ever seen, and it's up in the sky hanging. And it's supposed to look a little bit smaller when it's
Mm-hmm. No, it looks big.
It
looks big from a mile away. You can literally see it from a mile away.
Oh my God.
And the thing about the Confederate flag that bothers me the most is that whenever I see someone with a Confederate flag, I just want to give them like a British flag. And then they're like, they'll be upset. And they're like, well, that's not part of our heritage. Like, technically it is. Like, it really is. And at least it still exists.
You're not wrong, though.
Yeah, like, I don't care. Here's the thing. Here's my thought on the Confederate flag. I don't care what you think it means, either side, right? I don't care what you think it means.
Okay.
It is literally a flag of the enemy of the country.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think it means. It literally represents a country that is the enemy of America.
Right.
It doesn't exist anymore. Why would you put it up there?
Yeah. No, I understand that. It's like...
But you can't talk to these people.
No.
I mean, you're from Southern Virginia, so I mean, I don't know what's. Are we still friends?
You mind if I get a beer?
Yeah, let's go get a beer. Actually, do you want to start playing something?
Yeah, I can play something. I can definitely play something. Let's see. You got the mic stand, right?
Oh yeah, you need a mic stand. Sure. Intermission.
Intermission. So let me tell you. I can say that coming up, we are celebrating the Mid-Autumn Festival in the Vietnamese community. It's called Tết Trung Thu. I help out with that as well. I don't know why I'm so involved in like Vietnamese stuff.
Someone's got to do it.
But I'm very proud of who I am, and I think everyone should be, right?
I am proud to be from Boston, bro.
Like even if I don't know, I think overall we should be proud of who we are and what kind of things we do and everything like that. And if not, there's a lesson to be learned, and there's no shame in that either. Maybe it takes for us to be a little bit more open-minded. I'm an optimist, so I think that, there's always more good in us than we think. And speaking as someone who always cuts themselves short on a lot of different things, I could probably take my own advice also. Thanks, man.
What kind of anti-American propaganda are you pitching?
I was watching Family Guy earlier, and they said something like Putin was like the best.
I mean, the best at what?
You know what? I don't know.
Cool. What? So before you get into it, what songs did you play at the Viet Fest?
Viet Fest, I played that new Jonas Brothers song, Sucker. And then I played Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee. And I played a Vietnamese song called...
Café Sao?
No, Sao Tất Cả. No, I thought you were like really about to like say the song, and then I was like, wait, no, you didn't.
I think that's kind of the joke, right? You kind of have to know like one song, not know it, but like be able to refer to one song in every language.
So I learned last year when they asked me to perform, they're like, "Can you play a Vietnamese song?" Mm-hmm. Because we want to like really push our culture. We don't want the whole thing was just we don't mind that you play American songs, and we're glad that you're Vietnamese American, but we're also trying to promote our culture, and we think you'd be really cool given who you are to play a Vietnamese song to promote it to other people who are, because it's in Tyson's. It's a lot of foot traffic that isn't really coming for the festival to itself.
Right.
So I was like, no, I got you. So I learned one song. I learned Chakairasave. And then this year I learned Saltatka. And then somebody approached me and they're like, my goodness, you're so good at these Vietnamese songs. Like you should come play for us and just do a Vietnamese set. And I was like, my Vietnamese set is 2 songs.
You literally saw the beginning. But if you need a third song, Kep Fei Sao. That is the Vietnamese song.
Why do you know that?
Because you need to know one song in every language. Like, oh, you recognize like, oh, that's Kep Fei Sao, right?
Oh my goodness.
What are you gonna play for us today?
I've been on a Weezer kick. I think I'm gonna play some Weezer.
Dope. Let's do it.
All right.
I think you have to do the thing.
No, it's all good. Give me 1 second. Oh, you got that?
There you go.
All right. Keep on rolling.
Beers are moved over. You are safe, my friend.
Cool. What's with these homies dissing my girl? Why did they gotta front? What did we ever do to these guys that made them so violent? But you know I'm yours, and I know you're mine. Yeah, that's for all the time. I look just like Buddy Holly, and and you're Mary Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. Don't you ever fear, I'm always near. I know that you need help. Your tongue is twisted, your eyes are slit. You need a guardian. And but you know I'm yours. And and I know you're mine. Yeah, that's for all the time. I look just like Buddy Holly, and and you're Mary Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Bang, bang, a knock on the door. The bang, bang, and you're down on the floor. Oh no, what do we do? Look now, but I lost my shoe. Hey, I can't run and I can't kick. What's the matter, babe? Are you feeling sick? What's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter with you? Oh, what's the matter, babe? Are you feeling blue and just like Buddy Holly, and you're Mary Tyler Moore. I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
I freaking love that song. That's like one of my first, like the first Weezer song that I think I've heard.
Yeah. I love Weezer, man.
Good?
Yeah, I'm solid.
All right, let's move this back. What else you got going on, man?
Not too much. I'm keeping it quiet right now. I've got some things that I'm trying to work on for the job and everything. So keeping it low key for a little bit. No, you good. But yeah,
Recording? You're recording something soon?
Yeah, actually,
he thought he was gonna be slick.
I'm working on 4 songs right now. I'm working on 4 songs. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if it's going to be a project. I think there's going to be a show in December, but everything's got to get worked out. I'm working with this producer, a homie of SNRG's, and a really cool dude. His name's Track Former. Shout out to Track. I don't know if it's going to be an EP or if I'm just going to release it individually. I haven't figured it out, but I'll tell you, these songs are probably the most special songs that I've worked on ever because I feel like I typecasted myself unintentionally.
How so? Like, or into what and how so?
So I think everyone, because I loved emo music growing up and I always felt like there's a formula and, growing up listening to a lot of I guess, I don't know if you call it alt rock or what,
Weezer.
Well, no, not like bands like The Fray and stuff like that. You're always trying to write these very sweet, sincere songs and music, and I mean, I can do that, and that's what I've done. But anyone that knows me is yeah, that's one side of you. The other side is that you're brutally honest. You say a lot of weird shit. I want some of that.
Yeah.
Like maybe not weird shit, but just unconventional.
Well, isn't that kind of like the concept of an album? Like whether it be EP, LP, whatever, but it's here's a thought process. And then here's music that backs that up. And then your next album may or may not sound the same, but here's a different set of thoughts. Here's a different set of, I mean, doesn't Adele name her her albums off of the year, her age?
Right. I think my thing was I always held back on my personality because I didn't really know if a mass audience would really accept it because I felt like there was this cookie cutter mold that was very safe, right? And I'm realizing now, especially with me being older, now is not the time to be safe.
Well, there's that.
I should have done this years ago, but it's okay. I'm not upset. It takes growth.
I think that is a very old school industry way of looking at it. It's let's make tracks, let's make music for the masses. I think now we're very much in a micro bloggish sphere. It's let me figure out how I can get 400 people in 10 major cities that'll come see me.
Right.
And you can literally just build off of that.
Right.
No longer... Sure. Everyone wants to sell albums like Beyonce,
right.
But Paul Wall has made a killing off of going hand to hand on all of his albums.
Yeah, absolutely.
People find him. People go, oh, I like his music.
I think that was kind of my thing growing up. Is I grew up with a lot of lack of self-confidence. I think people mistaken how outgoing I am for confidence, right? So I have no problem being goofy and acting a fool because my whole thing was just it's a gimmick, right?
Okay.
It's a gimmick, but being sure of yourself as a gimmick does not mean that you're being sure of yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's an act.
Well, I think that especially for a lot of us Asian Americans, we hide behind a gimmick. We are quote unquote that guy. I'm the guy that likes football, or I'm the guy that whatever and we hide behind it. Even though it's I'm good at understanding how things work. I'm good at whatever.
I'm good at writing lyrics. I'm really good at writing sappy songs, but that isn't me. And I'll tell you, this new collection of songs that I'm working on right now, and it could be more than 4, but I'm aiming for 4 right now. I've got a lot of ideas. I've got to narrow it down, but it's been a long time since I've been excited about my music.
Ooh, and you're only excited about 4 songs. That's amazing. No, I'm not
No. Yeah, I got you.
For a comic, you go, well, I'm excited about this hour that I got, I really like, but you're saying I'm really excited about this 10 minutes. Like, I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's, and like right now it's floating somewhere between 8 and 12 minutes.
That's amazing.
It's kind of crazy because I've never been so minimal of my work. Like well, it's not really out there, but my old songs are very big. There's a lot of layers to it. And I think this one's going to be very minimal.
Interesting. Hold on 1 second. Maybe we are fucking with the gain better.
Is that better?
Well, if not, we'll figure it out later. Yeah, I think the issue, especially when we were growing up, you buy an album and you like 4 of the songs, 4 out of the 12. Especially back then, I would rather have just been able to buy the 4 songs that I liked. And now you can do that with iTunes. So is it imperative to come up with a whole hour-long album? No. I don't think so.
None of my albums that I put out have been more than 7 songs. And that's just something I've done like even way back in the day. I've recorded 3 projects. 2 of them are 6. The other one is 7 songs.
Wow. Yeah, and I think you're looking at quality over quantity.
Absolutely, and I think that it's just one of those things where it was kind of like I'm putting a lot of time and effort in this, and it was kind of my experiment of gauging like, do people like this or not? I don't want to put more songs out there if people aren't enjoying it, right? And it's okay if you don't like it, and you have your opinion.
I guess my thought right now is like, can you even just destroy the whole album theory?
I think that's very acceptable these days. I mean, to be real, like record labels sign you to single deals. Like you have one song that's hot, and they'll be like, "We'll sign you for this one song."
Is that what you want? You want record label distribution?
I mean, I don't. At this point, I don't really know, and I guess I kind of don't care because I'm a little jaded too.
Right. Well, I look at everything from like the comedy standpoint. It's like, I don't need really anything. I don't really need anything. I just need, if I can get the word out, people will come and see me. It's like, isn't that the beauty? You don't have a record label going, oh, we're gonna put your album out at this time. It's like, no, I'm gonna put out a song a month, every month. Fucking album.
I'll say this much. Considering how long I've been here, I've only been here for 3 years.
Me too.
And like, I don't want to sound conceited saying this, but it was kind of like
dick.
Seeing my birthday party and seeing like how many people support me, whether they come to my shows or not. I know that there's people that support me. It wasn't a massive crowd, but I can say that it was way more than I expected, which is still very comforting and rewarding. And what it comes down to for me is just like there's people that want me to succeed.
Yeah. Yep. I will say that I've noticed in a lot of like the micro circles, whether it be cultural or whatever.
Yeah.
They support you at the beginning.
Yeah.
And they'll support you when you're at the top. In the middle somewhere, it gets a little dicey.
I'm sure of it. I've experienced it.
Yeah.
But like
I'll go to your show at the little bar, but then you're like, hey, I'm opening for this guy. I go, fuck you.
But you know what? Like during that time, I think it's more of a thing for yourself anyways, right? I think it's a lot of like self-reflection on how to refine it. Because it's kind of like, I've had a lot of people support me at the beginning. They're warm, they're welcome to it. And then during that middle point, it's kind of like, I don't know if people get tired, but it's kind of like, well, we've seen this. We know what it's about. And even if it's new, they still feel like,
yeah,
we know what it's about.
But then that's not support anymore. Now it's transactional.
I don't believe that it's transactional. I think that they still believe that you could be successful and that they want you to. But it's kind of odd, right? It's this weird thing with like talent and business.
I think from a customer standpoint, right? You go, okay, let's say, horrible example, but we're going to go with it anyways. Let's say you start making T-shirts.
Right.
You print them up in your backyard. Sure. Great, I'll buy them. You know, and then you get to the point where you go, oh, I've got somebody else printing it, and I've got this, blah blah blah, and then people will turn on you, kind of like, I wouldn't wear that T-shirt. It has nothing to do with wearing the T-shirt. It has everything to do with support. Support is supporting.
Yeah and no, because like for me,
well, you're wrong.
I had I had this conversation with somebody where they were like, "Have you seen Crazy Rich Asians yet?" Hold on, let me take a step back. I told the story wrong already. Somebody posted up they had a free screening to Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, Christian O, right here.
No, it wasn't Christian O.
Oh, shout out to Christian O.
Shout out to Christian O. It was someone. Who was it?
Anyways,
so like this person posted up like, "Hey, go check out Crazy Rich Asians, first Asian cast and all this stuff."
Well, in the last
right
20 years.
So they gave all like the factoids about it all, and I was just kind of like,
which is all the reason why I didn't watch it when it came out.
Well, so you might support me in this.
Okay.
So I messaged them privately because I didn't want to make a big fuss about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, was it a good movie? And they said, what difference does it make? You should support Asian culture. And I said, no, I support Asian culture. But if I'm putting my money into this, like, I still want to be rewarded with a good experience. So like, for me, it's kind of like, with like the T-shirt thing, it's kind of like, I mean, I'm still dropping money. Like, I support you. I can support you in many different ways because you're an entertainer. There's many facets of it, right? Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like the T-shirt isn't the end all for me. And it's kind of one of those things. It's like, I don't, like for example, I like SNRG. Those are my homies.
Yep. Shout out to SNRG.
I feel really bad because I just don't wear a ton of T-shirts.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to buy their shirts. They know that. Mm-hmm. And I've definitely tried to push customers their way and everything. Yep. I don't wear their shirts because I don't wear T-shirts.
Right.
So that's like my thing for not.
Well, I think, again, if I love you and I support you, like, I think that I would buy your T-shirt regardless. Even if I don't wear it, I'll give it away. I'll find someone, you know, in this case, I'd buy your T-shirt and I would give it to somebody in the crowd. Because to me, I'm paying $20 to support you, not $20 for a T-shirt. And I think that's where it gets weird once you're at the bottom. Like, yeah, I'll give up my Wednesday night to go see Loy do comedy at a fucking Uncle Chuckle Hut's down the street. But then when you go, oh, he's doing big things, he's traveling, that's when it gets weird. And they're like, I've already seen his jokes. Oh, it's not about support now. Now it's transactional because apparently I've excelled beyond your support. Right. And now we are into the stratosphere of I need to give you something for your support. And you're not even giving support now. It's now transactional. Support should be, I don't want to say blind, but it's like, I'm supporting you.
But it's also different because we come from an entertainer's mindset where we know it.
I've bought album. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I've bought albums. I've bought T-shirts.
Yeah, because I'm definitely down. Like, I remember there's this dude I had beef with back in Virginia Beach. And
shout out to Skateboard P. Fuck that guy.
But like, you know, he came around and he was like trying to patch things up with me because he realized we were doing the same hustle and all this stuff. And I told him, I was like, he was like trying to push his mixtape and no one wanted to buy it. Mm-hmm. And he showed up at my event trying to sell it. And I was cool with it. I had no problem because like I understand at the end of the day, like it's about the hard work that you go into, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, look, man, I'm going to buy 2 CDs right now, but it's on you to get somebody to accept them. Like,
oh shit!
I was like, I already have your music.
Yep.
I know what you're about. Mm-hmm. Like, I supported you from afar, and I always have, even when we had beef, because I want people to succeed. That's just the type of person I am. Mm-hmm. But I'll buy 2 CDs, and this motherfucker was selling these CDs for $15 a piece. And so, like, you know, and I was like a college student at the time, but I was like, no, I'll buy 2 right now, $30. Like,
I mean, I know, like, as hosting, I'll host a show and the headliner is selling T-shirts, and I like him, I support him, and I know his T-shirts are not going to sell well. I'll buy one, and as the host, I'll give it to somebody in the crowd, and that's just not only the psychological of like getting the T-shirt sold, but it's like I'm supporting you. I don't want the T-shirt. It's not going to do. It's literally going to do you no good.
Right.
Me buying the T-shirt and having it sit in my closet. Let me just give it to somebody.
Right.
But I think that once you can get beyond the support level from the same people, and then they go, well, I'm paying now. You need to give me what I came for. When you're horrible, people, oh, well, he's my nephew. I'll go, fuck it. But then it gets weird when you're like same amount of money, same dollar price point, same night, but now it's like
you know what's funny about this, and I'm sorry to cut you short.
Sure.
But I forget where I heard this. I heard this recently. It was on some like show. It was like part of the script. They're like, yeah, when I saw this person. But just play the fucking hits. I don't want to hear the new shit. But the whole point of them touring is because they're promoting the new shit. You know what
right.
I mean? But like again, it's like the different perspective, like what the audience wants versus what you need to do for yourself.
Yeah, cool. I mean, the Wu-Tang Clan could go on tour right now and be like, "Hey, we're only doing new shit," and we're like, "Go fuck yourself." We need to hear Cream at least twice tonight. But that's a difference. That's the difference. I paid money for a ticket. I want something.
Right.
Support is I bought a ticket and just give me what you got.
Right. I understand. I understand your point.
Going back before we get out of here, let me explain the reason why I did not support Crazy Rich Asians when it first came out.
Right.
I've been in Hollywood too long. I was an actor for too long. I had zero faith. Like, first of all the money I knew was not going into the hands of the Asian community in general.
Right.
But I had zero faith that it was going to be a good, like, not a good movie, but like.
I mean, to be honest, I'll be honest, like, I haven't seen it still. And it's not that I'm against seeing it. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of like, I just don't really watch that many movies. And the movie has to be like 10 years old before I watch it.
You don't watch movies. You don't wear T-shirts. You just spend money on guitars.
But so real quick, I'm going to interject this last time. And my whole thing with this person I was speaking with, I was just like, I should support it because it's Asian. I was like, do you come to my shows? I mean, and I don't try to be an asshole saying that. Like, it's just sort of like, if you're going to apply that logic, you can't just apply it to like, trying to make some like Guinness Book of like records kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the crazy thing about support. It's like
just like,
we want to support what makes us look good. So even though I might not get the transactional portion of it, but I look good. Like I supported it. I was out there.
Right.
You're like, oh, you're a monster. I got into an argument, and people were like, "You're gonna watch it, right?" Like a specific person, like, "You're gonna watch it, right?" And I was like, "No, I'm not watching."
I will watch it. It just hasn't come on Netflix yet. Where it
it's on HBO. It's on HBO Go.
I don't have that.
Oh,
I never. Well, you like listen. I've listened to your podcast where you talk about Game of Thrones, and I'm like, I don't fucking get it.
Trust me, I'm not gonna lie. It's not my login. So I traded my Netflix login for an HBO Go login. I think they won, but I get what I need.
I've got Hulu. If someone wants to trade me their,
well, I think Disney Plus is gonna have Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Hulu.
And I'm kind of fucked on that deal. I'm going to buy Disney Plus.
Well, I think if you buy it now, it's like $4 a month because you buy like 2 years in advance or something.
Oh, really?
So you drop like, I don't know, don't quote me on this, people. You drop like $200 and you get like 2 or 3 years of subscription.
Like, there's a lot of Disney stuff. I need to watch Moana. I need to watch...
Moana is my favorite.
Is it?
Moana is the best princess in all of Disney. You can fight me.
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I don't know why I said that with like, I basically was like, yeah, you're a communist, whatever. Like, I don't even know why. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I just want to say that like Mulan, I'm really upset that Mushu isn't going to be in there because I really wanted like an Eddie Murphy, and I know that they're trying to be very serious. I guess like, like, explain it to me. Like
the problem that I have about Mulan is, and I don't have like a woke Asian theory on this.
Right.
It's just like you do frame for frame remake of literally every other movie, but with Mulan, it's like it's got to be something different.
and it's got to be serious. Like
Yeah.
you can't make it goofy at all. So that was kind of like my take on it. And they were saying like, well, Mulan. Someone told me like Mulan is based on like it's like inspired by, you know how like it's like based
Yeah.
on a true story kind of thing. They take what they like for Hollywood.
I'm going with, you're talking whatever 1500s China. It's like we were killing daughters up until yesterday.
Well, someone was telling me that like there's a fable about it.
It's a
or
fable.
something. But my thing was just sort of like, hey man, I fucking love Eddie Murphy. Like,
Well, there's that, but it's also like I think I saw some like kung fu, like Shaw Brothers kung fu theater type martial arts, and it's like, wait, you wanted to be serious, but you're gonna do that? Like, there's no songs, because the songs I think were a little too offensive. Do you remember the Mulan's like, I'm gonna make a man of you yet?
yeah.
Yeah, he was a dick.
But let's talk about that 98 Degrees Stevie Wonder song at the end.
98 degrees.
Oh,
Steve.
you don't know about that?
No,
The main theme song of that movie.
I thought it was Reflections. Christina Aguilera.
Well, there's that. But then there's also so 98 Degrees wasn't a big group yet. They were just starting to break
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, they had the song called "True to Your Heart."
Oh, that's them.
That's them featuring Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
So I'm not going to hear any 98 Degrees and Stevie on this one.
Yeah, you're not gonna hear any songs. You're not gonna the reflection. When will the reflection?
But that's kind of weird for a Disney movie, right?
No songs. I
No
just-
songs and just like how intense and serious it's supposed to be.
Yeah, in
Like because they replaced Mushu with a phoenix.
which I mean, that's the exact opposite of a dragon.
Dude, I'm just saying, like it's just opposite in the sense that, like it's like
It's
he
very
brought
off-
some like comedic relief and
Yeah,
everything.
it's very off-brand, and I think that's where it's like, why do you have to go off-brand for us?
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like I gave somebody a giant fortune cookie because
Okay.
they gave me a TV.
Okay, because
And-
that almost equates.
Well, it was just kind of like a thank you note. Like, it was
got it.
like you gave me this. Well, it was an old TV, and I appreciate it nonetheless. So I sent them a giant fortune cookie that had like a little, because you can fit like a letter in there versus just like a short little fortune note. This thing, it weighed a pound. It was like this big.
Okay.
So I sent a little thank you note, and they called me, and they didn't know it was for me. So they're like, I was like, hello? And they're like, hey, I think I received your package by mistake. And I was like, no. I was like, is this Alan? Yeah. No, this is Tune On. I just want to send you a little thank you note because, I appreciate you offering me the TV. Mm-hmm. Aren't you Vietnamese? Aren't you? Isn't fortune cookies Chinese?
It's like, no, not
Hey
even
man,
that.
you're just looking at this. It's way too deep. It's just a thank you note. I thought it was like a goofy thing.
Yep. Technically, it was a Jewish guy in New York. You're right.
I was just like, okay, whatever.
That is the funny thing. Like in America, it's like either we have to be whatever we are, and it's confusing if we're not, or
I appreciate how PC he was trying to be about it, but at the same time, it's sort of like, look, man, just fucking take the gift.
but what I'm saying is like it's either that PC weird conversation of like, wait a second. It's like, oh, you eat sushi? I thought you were Chinese. I'm like, yeah, but I like fucking sushi. That's crazy. Or it's the Chinese, Japanese, whatever. It's all the same. Whatever. Like it's one of the two.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean.
But like I try to give a sense of grace with that because, especially if they're trying to be educated about it. Like I confused, I guess, the hell out of my coworker once because I said, there's a lot of Asian dishes that are very similar. They're not the same,
Okay.
but like they're similar.
Yeah.
Filipino people have chicken adobo or pork adobo. Vietnamese people have thịt kho, which is like similar tasting, but it's like different base sauce. It's still different, right? And so like I told my coworker that once, and I told her, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to like go home today. I'm going to go visit my mom, and she's like making a home cooked meal for me. She goes, oh, does your mom make sushi? Like, why the fuck would my mom make sushi? But the thing is, she's very bad at explaining. Mm-hmm. So she's like, because like, didn't you say like Asians are similar? And I was like, Vietnamese people don't have sushi. And she's like, but you said Asian people are similar. But what she was trying to say was, do you remember when we had this conversation a month ago when you said that there's a lot of similar Asian dishes? Yeah. Is this one of those similar Asian dishes?
It was,
But she's just so bad. And this is who she is in general, not like this one incident. And so I was getting like real upset about it, but then I had to remember who she is. Well, which is tough to like separate the individual, because like sometimes we generalize on reflecting on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's tough too.
But like being a comic and watching a lot of not Asian people do comedy, there tends to be a lot of like Asian jokes, whether they're usually horrible. But so I'm watching like Bert Kreischer's one of his first specials, and one of the jokes is literally this. It's like, did you know that Chinese people and Japanese people don't understand each other at all?
I want to hear where this is going.
No, that's the joke. Like, literally, that's the joke. It's like, you knew that? I didn't know that. And I was like, you literally dedicated 3 minutes of your set to it. And I get it. Like, maybe it's like, here, spread the knowledge, because maybe it's your crowd. Maybe it's your crowd that doesn't know that shit. But it's like, you sit there and watch it and you go, you're a fucking idiot.
Sometimes I like when I hear comedians do those kind of jokes, it's kind of like, is it because you're pandering because you know your audience is not as well informed, and you are that intelligent, so you're trying to let them know, or are you just as dumb? You know what I mean? So like, let me ask you this: like, you've seen the new Dave Chappelle special? What did you think about his transgender joke into the
Chinese joke, the Chinese impression joke? You know what I find funny is that he likes to rag on Chinese people, even though his wife's Filipino. Like, it would make more sense to me if he did Filipino jokes.
But do you think that that's because he knows how
dumb a lot of people are? No, because he says a lot of smart shit.
But do you think people can differentiate that? Because here's my thing, like, my thing is, well, first off, I didn't know that like he says a lot of jokes about Chinese people, but I will say that like, you know, I had a friend who, I still have a friend.
Yeah, he's still around. He's still alive.
But my friend during like the, do you remember the Rachel Dolezal and Caitlyn Jenner thing?
Yes.
So my friend, Black descent, African American descent. I don't know how PC people are going to be about me saying that.
Black.
I've heard so many people say, "Don't call me African American, just call me Black."
Yeah.
But anyway, so like, so my friend, who's Black, he's Black.
Yep.
So anyways, he goes and he says, "Isn't it kind of crazy with what's going on?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You got Rachel Dolezal, am I saying her last name right?
Dolezal.
Dolezal.
Yeah.
Rachel Dolezal and Caitlyn Jenner, if you look at it, if you take a step back and just really look at the root of what it is, you have two people who are going through identity crisis.
Yes.
One is doing a lot for the community. At the time, Caitlyn Jenner wasn't really embracing the community.
Rachel Dolezal was like at the top of the NAACP.
Right. So like his thing was just sort of like, he's like, you know, I'm not leaning towards one way or the other, but isn't it crazy that you got two people who are going through identity crisis, and
one's embraced and the other one is on
completely
fire,
shit on.
Yep.
And it's just very odd to me how the politics of all this stuff works. Like, one did a very superficial change on, like, as far as just like what can be changed on the skin surface, and one went through a very surgical procedure, and they were just kind of saying like, it's just wild to me. So like for me, when I heard the Chappelle joke, like it was kind of like going back to that, but on a different scale.
Right,
obviously.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, he's got a lot of great points, and it just seemed, I try to ignore it because I see the bigger picture in that joke.
Right.
In that joke specifically.
Right.
But it's like, and I think that's my problem with Louis C.K. It's like, you're too smart. You do a lot of smart jokes, but you do a lot of dumb jokes. And I feel like with Dave Chappelle, when he did the Chinese impersonation, it's kind of, I try to let it go. It's like, I get what you're trying to say. There's no point in, but nobody is going to say no. Like, out of all the crazy shit that I read about the special, no one was like, oh yeah, and that Chinese impression was pretty fucked up.
Do you feel like Asian people really have to ride on the coattails of Black America? Because I do.
What do you mean exactly?
Well, like any progress for us as a community is kind of the trails of what the Black community has done. And I don't think that it's like,
yes,
but I think it's because of like the history of America.
Well, also I think that
because there's going to be a more prominent voice in that.
Black people are the oldest minority,
right?
In not on American soil, but in American culture.
Right, right.
And yeah, they're blazing the trail. The Hispanics are right behind them,
right.
And then we are somewhere behind them, you know.
Right.
And I think, yeah, they, especially culturally, I think they blaze a lot of trails. And I think culturally in America, our struggles are intertwined.
Absolutely. It's same like end goal, different journey.
Yes, because there's a different ethic to a lot of the things, whether it be racism in the banking, you know, being able to get us loans or whatever. But
my man is well informed about this.
I know a little bit about it, a little bit, and you know, and I think that's kind of the reason why I get I don't want to say chastised, but I get. People give me a hard time when I'm doing black rooms, when I'm doing urban rooms. It's like, because I'm the only Asian person that they see that's doing what they're doing. I don't own anything. I'm not,
right.
You know, I'm not behind the other side of the counter.
Right.
So a lot of the perception that lands on me is from somebody else.
Right. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that completely.
And I think that we kind of had similar experiences where you're just kind of like, I'm actually on this side of the counter. I'm on the same side of the counter as you. Right,
and it's tough because what's his name? Phil Wong. He's like he has a special on Netflix too. One of like, well, it's not a full special.
Oh, Phil Wong. Yeah, I had a hard time watching that one.
Did you?
The British guy?
Yeah.
Where he opens up with he has a 15-minute set, 5 minutes of farting.
I don't remember, but
his first 5 minutes is like the first 5 minutes was. The first 2 minutes was like him saying his name over and over again.
Right.
And then the next 3 minutes was like him talking about farting on a 15-minute special. I was like, I don't think I can watch this. But he's big in England.
Well, he said this thing because he was talking about like how he grew up kind of conflicted because like, you know, he's living in England.
Yep.
His family's from what?
Sure.
China, Singapore, somewhere in Asia, and he goes and he says, you know, the funny thing is that regardless of where I go, whether it's here or Asia, I'm always defined by what makes me different.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy because, like, you know, obviously he's successful and everything like that. So he was like, he mentioned briefly, he didn't go in depth with it, but he was just sort of like, when he was in Asia, he was known as the white guy.
Yep.
When he went to England, he was known as the Asian guy. And it's tough, you know, like, because I related to that so much because when I was in Virginia Beach, I was like the Vietnamese guy. And then when I moved out here, or not even the Vietnamese guy, I was the Asian guy.
Yeah.
So when I moved out here and started hanging out with Vietnamese people, they're like, oh, it's the Vietnamese dude, but he's white.
Well, I'll give you, I understand that, where it's like, I'm too white to be Asian, I'm too Asian to be white. But here's a crazy thing. I don't have an option. I don't have like a Chinese American. I don't have like a Chinese background to fall back on. I don't speak Chinese. I can barely order food. You know, like there isn't. This is what I am. I'm from Boston. if you want to have a conversation about my background, we'll talk about Boston.
Right.
That's about it.
Right.
At least like in your end, like, oh, you're part of the community. You can speak the language.
I'm not enough. I'm not enough.
I understand, but I'm less. So you're not enough. I'm less than that.
But it's weird because like if let's say you're Vietnamese in your status,
Sure.
they would understand it. They would embrace you. Like for me, I'm still fighting tooth and nail a lot.
So it's better to be zero than in the middle somewhere.
Right, because
Interesting.
They're like, no, he's not enough. We want him here, but when he goes and he does certain things, it's not Vietnamese enough. I've had to turn down events because like they really wanted me to like MC certain events, and I'm like, no, I will not.
Wow.
Because I know like for me, as charismatic as I am with like the audience and the stage presence, I will be hung up like a martyr in the sense that like they will say, why do we have him?
Wow.
Yeah, he tried to speak Vietnamese and it's okay, but like it's not enough. They would rather have a more American guy and then him making a very poor effort than have me on there.
You know, I will say that is interesting.
Because to them, they're like, why isn't he more? You found somebody. If you can find him, why can't you find somebody better?
You know, I do find that funny because speaking like a little bit of Spanish, people lose their mind. Like Spanish people lose their mind. Oh my God, he speaks like French, same thing. Tagalog's, or not Tagalog, but my wife's dialect, Visayan. When I say like one or two words, they go, oh, that's crazy. But when I speak Chinese, they're like, like I literally have a joke where it's like, if somebody's Chinese in the crowd and they speak Cantonese, I'll ask them in Cantonese, do you speak Cantonese? And the joke is, I tell everybody else, like, with me asking them if they speak Cantonese, they know that I don't speak Cantonese. They can hear him. They can hear my voice. They know I don't speak. Like that's, and that's the thing. I think that it is strange where I don't have anything else to fall back on, like culturally.
Right.
I'm American, and Americans don't get it because they're like, why don't you speak? I'm like, because my great grandfather didn't speak.
Right.
So what does that mean? Like, listen, sir, your grandparents came from Germany, came from Italy, and you don't speak that language. I'm four generations before that.
Wow.
And people go, yeah, I think you should speak it though. I was like, do you speak Gaelic, sir? Do you speak O'Connell? Do you speak Gaelic? Shut the fuck up. Nobody speaks Gaelic anymore. But all right, that was.
We've gone way over. I'm sorry.
That's all good. We like it. It's good. Where can they find you, and where can they find you next?
Follow me on IG at the number 2 NONVU. That was N as in November, O as in Oscar, N as in November, V as in Victor, U as in uniform, military phonetics.
Somebody grew up in Virginia Beach, right outside of a military base. To non-vu.
Add me on IG.
Yep.
I'm gonna lay low for a while. You'll find me here doing these little episodes with Loy.
Yep.
And I'll keep you guys posted about the music, but it's in the works. I'm excited about it.
I got the DC Asian Pacific American Film Festival comedy show.
Oh.
With Christian O.
Yeah.
So Christian O is putting it on. It's a comedy show.
Christian O is the homie.
Shout out to Christian O.
Shout out to Christian O.
We're doing that, and I think he wants to do music as well.
Okay.
So I'll see if I can't put you on there. Or I know that he's with SNRG.
He's got quite the roster, but
Christian O is literally the godfather of Asian American activities here.
I think I saw Christian O wearing a Versace shirt once, and I said, "Yo, Christian, this is what you're about these days." And with these like Kanye-looking shades, was like, "Yeah,
yeah." You look at Christian O and just go like, "Wow." I wish I had the balls.
But he's the friendliest dude.
He is.
Like, it was just so funny. It was a really hot day, and like, I think he was just like beat from the sun, but he just looked at me and was just like, yeah.
Last time I saw him, he had like Elvis aviators on, and I was like, I wish I had big brass balls like you. And not to harp on it, but he actually was the guy that got me to see Crazy Rich Asians because he had a free screening.
Oh, down the street.
Yeah, AFI.
Oh, I should have went to that.
Yeah, free. I mean, well, I didn't know you then.
Could have known me sooner.
Like, who's this skateboard P motherfucker looking? God. Yeah. So you have no events coming up.
No events. I've turned down a few. I'm really trying to keep it low key for the moment. I think it's sometimes you just kind of have to go into hibernation and get the work right. I know I can always put on a good show, but I'm keeping it quiet for a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna work on. We're gonna try to find you like a weekly gig somewhere, just to throw some covers and get out there.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't mind that. I like the covers. It's just hard trying to perform your own material when it's not ready.
Right.
When it's not ready.
Well, and that's the beauty of comedy. None of your jokes are ready until they're done, and you just throw them out there. So check him out, Tunan Vu. He's also on my Instagram as well. Check me out, Loy Lee Comedy. That's all I got. Say goodbye.
Toodles.
Bye.